Ken Kraetzer for CBSI Services Talking Business. Another episode of our series talking with leaders in the field of digital marketing, banking, insurance, customer service, and business education, and all to highlight the great work of our team at CBSI. We're based in Harrison, New York. We provide insurance-based benefits to the credit card and payments industry. And today I'm really pleased we've got one of our team to talk to. It's been really doing a great job taking care of clients and customers all through this pandemic and working from home and from our Atlanta office, and that is Megan Delaney, who is our Director of Partnership Management at CBSI. Megan, how are you today?
Doing well, Ken. How are you?
Good, good. Great to see you. And tell our audience first a little bit about yourself. Graduate of UMass, and tell us a little bit about yourself and your role at CBSI.
Sure. So as you stated, I graduated UMass with a degree in marketing. I started at CBSI almost exactly 19 years ago to the day. I started in the quality assurance capacity, and I was able to evolve into working directly with our partners and have most recently been spearheading partnership management between the third parties, the clients, as well as program management for some of our more frequently used insurance benefits.
Very good. Now, it's been an extraordinary year and a quarter. I know when I left the office last March, I thought, this would be maybe a month or two, and now it's 16 months. We're hoping to get back full-time in the office in the fall. Looking forward to that and seeing everybody. But tell us a little bit of what has been like for you. What have been some of the challenges that have come up in taking care of our clients who tend to be credit card issuers around the country, and then and also the needs of customers that we've fielded calls on?
Sure. So obviously there was the logistical component where we had to quickly adapt to equipment setup and working remotely to take the calls. We also had changing needs of our end users, of the customers. They had different types of questions. We had inundations with trips that have been canceled. So they were really looking for assistance in a port in the storm where they could find assistance, advice, and we saw it at unprecedented measures as far as the call volume that we received last March and April.
Well, that's one of the things we've said is that customers want to talk to someone on the phone, and call volumes at customer service facilities serving the banking industry were up 40%, as American Banker pointed out. And how is it just handling that volume of calls? And I know you and your team tend to get some of the extraordinary situations to handle yourselves. How is it just handling that volume?
It was an uphill battle. So we had to quickly onboard, pivot. We had to change digitalization so that we can, as often as possible, help customers self-service. We needed an all-hands-on-deck approach to solicit and incent overtime, round-the-clock help, and tapping into a market of employees that, what was pretty stable for 4 or 5 years. We, out of nowhere had this explosion and need for bodies.
Absolutely. All across the customer service industry, we've seen that, heard that, and managers like yourself had to jump in and help find staff, motivate staff, and enable them to be able to do that. Now, one of the programs that you've been involved with managing is longstanding at CBSI. We're saying our founder, Bob Conti, had a lot to do with putting this product together originally, and that's auto rental collision damage waiver. And it's a very popular program for those who rent cars on business trips and also personal trips. Tell us a little bit about that program, auto rental collision damage waiver.
Sure. So the primary purpose of the program is to boost comfort and confidence in customers that if they're using the correct credit card, that they will be covered should there be an incident with the vehicle. It saves them upfront costs because most rental agencies charge a pretty hefty daily fee to afford their customers the same level of insurance that we have. But it also saves on the back end. If we are not primary, meaning they use us as first dollar coverage, they are secondary. And oftentimes customers are still out of pocket for things like deductibles, loss of use, administrative fees that are not typically covered by primary insurance. So there's a real value add and a financial incentive to using this program that makes customers very happy.
Well, absolutely. It's been a program that's certainly for those who may not own a car, that the insurance is very valuable. It's another layer of insurance coverage that can be applied. And what are some of the situations you find that that the program has helped customers out? I mean, it could be on a minor accident that can happen when you have a car rental, or even something more serious.
Sure. So beyond just the financial aspect, we have tenured subject matter experts who are extremely familiar with working directly with the rental agencies on behalf of the customer, as well as entities such as the DMV. We could have something as minor as windshield damage all the way up to a total loss, where the average consumer may find it overwhelming to get through the logistics of that and aggregate all the different parties involved. So not only do we act as someone who can write a check and reimburse a customer, but also we're there to see them through start to finish the claims experience.
Absolutely. And it's important for customers to check if their car that they're going to use for a trip has auto rental protection coverage if they're going to rent a car on a trip. And what's the best way for a customer to find out if their particular credit card that they're using has the program?
Sure. So the best way is to start with the financial institution. Typically, the number on the back of the card will point you in the right direction and oftentimes ultimately land you right in the customer service unit that we manage, where we can go over all of the terms and conditions, give you some helpful hints, review what the requirements are, what vehicles are covered, etc. So if you start with your financial institution, either on their website or using the number on the back of the card, you'll most oftentimes get the right information and get to the right place.
Very good. Now, this was a tough time for the car rental industry in particular during the pandemic, as business trips shut down virtually entirely, and most consumer trips, travel for vacation shut down, coming back now.
Right.
And a lot of adjustments. How do you see the industry doing? I know you saw some adjustments that the car rental companies did to provide access to groups of customers.
Sure. So the rental agencies are seeing a faster rebound now with consumer travel versus business, which was not the case initially. There was a motivator to rent a car for business purposes in lieu of air travel, but now we've kind of seen the business travel plateau, at least for the time being, and there's still a continued increase in personal or consumer travel. We haven't yet hit pre-pandemic levels, but we are getting close. But the rental agencies, just like every other industry, had to be extremely innovative in how they could make up for any kind of revenue loss. So they were finding different emerging markets to rent. They had to beat against some of their competition. We are seeing most recently some of the car share, so the Ubers and the Lyfts of the world are being priced out, and people are once again renting vehicles from traditional rental agencies because it's more cost effective. The rental agencies adapted by lowering the minimum age to rent. They identified a market of delivery services that was in need of the fleet. So what they did was they allowed for more availability to a demographic that historically they were not so inclined to rent a vehicle.
Very good, very good. Well, I want to ask you your workout from our Atlanta office. We're working at home, and you've got
Sure.
2 young children, and must have been, how did you handle the challenge of just setting up to work at home? In a capacity that there was a lot of special situations to handle, especially early on in the pandemic, but then also, having 2 children at home and trying to manage, online and all for them. How did you do it all?
I immediately invested in some soundproofing barriers under my office door so that I wouldn't be distracted by any kind of background noise. I made sure that I had a very good lock on my office door that worked well. But I'm also really fortunate that I have an opposite schedule to my husband. So we we're ships in the night. He's all hands on deck throughout the 9 to 5, and then we high five and he heads out the door. So it was a challenge. It was a challenge, especially with younger ones who don't understand noise and to not make any as often as possible. But it wound up working itself out, as most things do, and I didn't notice any disruption in my availability or my equipment, my ability to respond or attend meetings virtually. I did notice there was very little 5 a.m. trips to the airport, which at this point, being stuck here for over 17 months now, I would gladly take that 6 a.m. flight.
Very good. Now, a quick question. Now, we've all learned and adapted during the pandemic. We're doing interviews on Zoom now, which actually has allowed us to reach out to more people in more locations than we would have otherwise. We're going to continue to doing that. What do you see as far as practices in your work that are good, that you learned about and are going to continue with as we hopefully move past the COVID era?
No, that's an excellent question. I think that most specifically with employee management, we found the silver lining in that we were able to widen the net and pull from a much larger pool of talent. So I think we'd be able to continue that particular practice where we see that you don't have to report to a physical building and therefore be tethered by a 30 or 60 mile radius. So I think there was also so many different efficiencies, realizing that there are tasks that can be completed completely digitally and virtually that may no longer require on-site visits, which also detract, with the travel time from being able to manage your time efficiently. So there are a handful of things that I think we will maintain digitally, but there is really no replacement with face-to-face. There's nothing that can substitute for that.
Absolutely. And Megan Delaney, who is Director of Partnership Management at CBSI, and been a great colleague for more years than that we're going to admit. But Megan started very, very early in her career with us, and we're so glad that she does the job she does, and her team taking care of our customers and their clients. And Megan, a final thought for us as we see hopefully travel picking up and in-person meetings starting to happen again in the fall. And what's your final thought for us today?
Sure. So as you said, the travel is rebounding, which means there's more work for us to do and more help for us to give. So I'm really hopeful that we can return to some level of a normal, and just continue to assist the customers who find our programs so valuable when they become aware of it. And that's the industry that we're in. We're really there to, as loyalty programs, to try and help people almost always who are in some sort of bind. So I'm looking forward to that occurring at a normal clip again.
Very good. Well said. Megan Delaney, Director of Partnership Management at CBSI from her home today in the Atlanta area. Great to talk with you today. Really appreciate it.
Thanks, Ken. Good talking with you.
Thank you. And this is Ken Kraetzer for CBSI Services, all to represent the team we have at CBSI based in Harrison, New York. We provide insurance-based benefits to the credit card and payments industry. I'm in my home office today in White Plains, New York. Have a great day.